The Mannin Line with Beth Espey.
Well, first, good afternoon. Welcome to Thursday's Mannin Line here on Manx Radio. Beth looking after things for Andy for a few days. He's just on holiday. Don't panic. Whatever is on your mind, though, we'd love to talk to you. 66 13 68 is the number to call. So we were talking yesterday about Ramsey Cottage Hospital, and one listener suggested it should move to Nobles. All the services there should go to Nobles. I think it's fair to say it didn't go down very well. We have had the Manx Care CEO, Teresa Cope, on this morning, giving some reassurances about Ramsey Cottage Hospital's future. And also, as Australia imposes a social media blackout for those under the age of 16, would you welcome a similar move over here? I wonder what your kids would think about that. Or perhaps you'd like to talk about something else entirely. 166 177 if you'd like to text in. You can also find us on WhatsApp as well. And you can email studio@manxradio.com. We have got a lot of callers waiting, actually, which is always good news. But before we do that, just to let you know, there is going to be an emergency closure on the Mountain Road this afternoon. There is a roadside tree at the hairpin on the exit of Ramsey that has been found to have recently shifted. It's unstable, and so it's in a dangerous condition. And if it's not sorted out, it will present a danger to road users. So it has to be felled without further delay, and because of its location, the road will have to close temporarily to safely deal with it. So there is this emergency closure. It's from the bungalow to Ramsey. It will be from 1:30 today until no later than 4:30. So access between Douglas and Sulby will be via the Tholty Will Road. That will be unaffected, and also the Victory Cafe at the bungalow and the Craigna Bar Hotel, both accessible from Douglas and the South and Sulby. So that is from 1:30 today. Let's go straight to the lines though now. And although it's not working, so that's a good start, isn't it? We will go to that caller in just a moment. I think it is Robert who wants to talk about the bishop, but we also had a message that was emailed in from James to say, contrary to Peter Murcott's comments on the Mannin Line or Rob Collister, MHK's statements on social media and in the mainstream media, the removal of the bishop's vote will not change 1,000 years of history or remove the Christian religious aspect of Tynwald. If the bishop's vote is removed in Tynwald and the Legislative Council, it will not prevent the bishop speaking out in both chambers on matters. Neither will the removal of the vote change the role of the bishop or their deputy leading prayers in both chambers or the Tynwald Hill ceremony. However, if the bishop's vote is removed, the Church of England has threatened it may dissolve the Diocese of Sodor and Man. That would result in the Isle of Man being annexed to a diocese in the UK. We would come under the jurisdiction of the bishop of that diocese. Eventually, it would mean there would no longer be a bishop of the Isle of Man to sit or vote in Tynwald and Ledgeco. The question, James says, one must ask is why the Church of England is threatening such action, which is in effect holding a gun to the head of the House of Keys and Ledgeco and to the majority of people on this island. Does it really matter? The repetitive mantra of a minority of politicians pampering to a minority of people about our heritage and culture being eroded if we lose a bishop is absolute nonsense. The majority of people on this island do not attend any church of any faith, and in my view, says James, they would be unfazed if we lost the bishop. The religious aspect of political ceremony would be unchanged because the bishop's deputy of whatever diocese we were annexed to would still lead the prayers, and also with a change in the law, such deputy could sit in Tynwald and Ledgeco if necessary, despite not voting. A lot of people are saying, says James, the Manx Parliament should be dealing with more important matters, but they've been saying this for decades, so it finally must be sorted out one way or the other. There is never a good time, so that time is now. But one thing is really important. In a true democracy, the Church should not have votes in a Parliament because their priests are not elected to it. Also, as a Celtic nation, we should not allow ourselves to be threatened by the Anglican Church based in another country. Our heritage is Celtic, not Anglo-Saxon. Christianity thrived on the Isle of Man long before King Henry VIII established the Church of England. That was a message in from James. Well, we can go to the lines now and join Robert on line one. Good afternoon, Robert. How are you?
Hi, how's it going?
Good, thank you. You want to talk about the bishop, do you?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't think we're that much of a charitable society, really. I think that if you give money through the church and things like that, which is, you know, where the buck stops at the end of the day, I don't think that any of that is traceable in terms of like where it's actually going. I don't think there's any, paper trail in terms of like where the money's actually spent or anything like that. I think that tithing is important for Christians. I'm agnostic myself, and I'm, don't tend to go with that type of thing. I was when I was growing up, but I mean, I moved away from that. And I just think that, where's all the money? Where's all the money that we've given them? How much does Jesus owe me?
Oh, interesting question for a lunchtime, Robert. You were talking specifically, though, about the bishop as well. Obviously, he's just had that sort of lengthy statement. We know it's going to come back probably to the House of Keys in January. Did you have any thoughts about where that vote should go?
Say again, sorry, I've got some roadworks here. Say that again,
bless you.
Sorry.
No, just talk about the bishops, who obviously thinking about the bishop's vote coming back to the House of Keys and potentially losing that, a bit of a change over here. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Well, the House of Keys and the bishop's vote, I believe the bishops should be removed from power in terms of a vote. I think that there should be a general person sat there with multiple faiths. I think it's King Charles himself is the protector of all faiths now. So I think we moved away from where we're at with a single Church of England system. And I think that multiple faiths should be adopted to be set forth in terms of prayers and things like that. I think there's a lot more wisdom out in the fields, out in Ronnig and Patrick and Mackle than there is in Douglas. I think that those people should be included.
All right, Robert, lovely to talk to you as ever. Thank you so much. That was Robert there. We can go to line 2 now. And Ray Lakeman is with us here. Ray, lovely to talk to you. How are you doing?
I'm very well, actually, Beth. I've had an exciting couple of days.
Well, we know it's a poignant time of year for you. We were hearing from you on the programme yesterday, and obviously 11 years since your 2 sons died. There's still, in your mind, a lot to do to try and address some of the issues which obviously affected your family.
Yes, and I'm really upset about the lack of progress in the House of Keys. And I've spoken to MHK. I've had replies, from Jane Paul Wilson, and I'm still not satisfied. So I'm going to give them a proposition, because I want to know why they haven't taken. This has taken a long time. I've been involved in the formation of the drugs and alcohol strategy since 1995. When my boys were sadly killed by their use of illegal drugs. I know what has been going on. I know how long these committees take. They spend hours in meetings. Jane Paul Wilson is quite right. These people have got loads of other commitments that they are. I want to know why they have not taken advice from charities, which I know exist, people who are experts in this field, who could tell them or give them advice and models to adapt and to follow. Now, I'm currently in Bristol talking to one of these charities. There are people around the table who are prepared to come to the Isle of Man and explain what we should be doing and what we're doing wrong.
We should just
My
say...
challenge...
Sorry, Ray, we should just say here at the moment that the government position from the Department of Home Affairs is that they do say they're committed to turning these principles into practice. It says this does require cooperation across agencies, so public health, Manx Care, police, prison, probation, education and the third sector. And as you stated at the start of what you were saying there, they do say this work must be prioritised alongside other existing commitments. So we know there is a lot out there in the political world, Ray, and it must be incredibly frustrating from your point of view, and we completely understand that.
Yeah, well, yes, I do. I understand that. They've sent me, I've read all the messages, and I've had conversations with Jane Paul Wilson. What I'm saying to them is I am prepared, and I know people, and I'm talking to them within the next few minutes because I'm in conversation with them, right? And I am inviting these people who are willing to come over to the Isle of Man all from various charities, all have got expertise in the very things that we are considering, which the Isle of Man government has said to be considering, which has taken over 10 years to formulate. And I'm saying to them that this information is available and they have not availed themselves of it, and that the procedure is too long and too protracted.
Ray, it's lovely to talk to you as ever. Thank you so much for taking the time to call, and no doubt once you're back on the island and obviously been speaking to those charities, it'd be great to catch up with you again.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care. That is Ray Lakeman there. You can read much more about that story on the Manx Radio website. Let's go to line 3 now and join David Quirk. Good afternoon, David. How are you?
Hi, Beth. Great, except the weather is awful.
Is it? Doesn't it? Well, it's a bit murky, I suppose, across Ogan. Is that where you are at the moment?
Yeah, at the family home, but the solar panels are not producing any electricity, which is disappointing.
You'll have to get your own little turbine and start pedalling.
Well, some say I'm pedaling all the time. Yeah. But Beth, I want to talk about quickly, just a thank you this morning. I don't know who Tom the Milkman is from the Island Creameries in Ogan, but I got a Christmas card this morning. It was absolutely soaked. So he delivers the mail at night when we're asleep. But he's retiring in December. So if Tom the Milkman is listening, or anybody knows Tom the Milkman, I'd like to find out where is he from, where he is, and just thank him and maybe send him a card.
Aww.
Maybe to the Milk Market Association to say, thank you for delivering the milk all the time for free. Not for free, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Doesn't cost us any more to get the milk delivered, and it's a product. That's the way I look at it.
Absolutely. All right. Let's just put that call. Sorry, David, before you carry on. I know you've got other things to talk about, but yeah, we want to speak to Tom the Milkman on Mannin Line. So if he's listening and he can phone in, or somebody who knows him, that'd be brilliant. So you also want to talk about the promenade lights and housing as well, David?
I do. The promenade lights. We met this morning at the Pensioners Club, which I'm chairman of. And they discussed this morning about Christmas and stuff like that, trees and bits and pieces. They thought Ogan was good, so that's a big plug for us. But they thought the promenade was absolutely desperate. And they were going to thank out to all those companies, the businesses that have got big hotels there, are making an effort to put lights in, streaming icicles coming from the building and stuff like that. But the lights on the promenade are really desperate, and I have to agree with them. And I'm just wondering what the thoughts would be for the future, how to make the prom something better.
We've had a message in. Sorry, David, we had a message in. Just so can you ask David, as he's on, why Ogan has 2 small Christmas trees?
They're not small. They were originally, but the problem is we've got a problem in the Isle of Man buying local trees. They're not that big, so we had to go with what we've got, and we've increased them slightly, but. Isn't it the point though, Beth? You know, we've got a tree.
Yep.
If it wasn't big enough or thing, at least we've got a tree that's lit. But look at the lights we've got now from Government House right through Ogan to Corporal's Garage, and then through to the Commissioner's offices. We've got more lights now, and they're all what Andy was talking about last week. There, Christmas trees there, flashing on and off, stars. We've got all sorts of things that happen. And that's what local authorities do. That's part of the community. We need to do more, but it's down to the rates. But I wanted to talk about, if I can, another local authority selling houses in Marathon Drive.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about? And they've been empty about 8 months or 9 months, as far as I'm concerned, on it there. How are they going to do that? I don't know this. I know the fella who's announced it this morning. How is he going to do that? And how are people, if people want first-time buyers, where are they going to go to get a mortgage from? They won't be able to get one from the bank, because the first thing the bank will say, you need to do a survey. Well, tile roofs, there's probably the windows won't doing and whatever. And what they're going to get? They're not going to get much money, are they, for them? And I don't know what the value of the property is. The council's never said how much the properties were worth. There must be a value in them over a number of years. And I just wonder why aren't they offering to some of the charities we have? Salvation Army may want to look at them.
Well, let's just remind people of what this story is about. So we were talking to the Douglas City Council leader, Devon Watson, who says tenants on Marathon Drive and Falcon Cliff Terrace are aware of what's going on. They're selling 17 social housing properties, and they do say these properties require significant investment. So from that point of view, David, as somebody who's in the commissioners, I'm sure you'd understand potentially that actually the cost of doing that investment might be more than what they'd get back for them. They own 35 such properties. It has met with the tenants on the drive who will be effective, and it is operating what they say is a tenants first policy, and each house will be sold individually to avoid them being swept up by a developer. This will start with the 6 vacant homes in the next few weeks, and you can read more about that story on the Manx Radio website. But I just wonder, David, sometimes, if the council does it with the intention of ultimately saving money, if that investment was going to be too much, maybe that was the reason behind it.
The biggest question I'd ask, Beth, is really, why weren't the properties looked after donkeys years ago? Why wasn't some investment? The council, that every local authority gets, who has housing stock anyway, gets 33.3% to maintain the properties. That's quite a lot of money in the council's point of view, never mind to some of the other local authorities. And they get, something like 20% or something like that to look after them, to manage them.
Well, I suppose, so David, if those properties, they talk about the 6 vacant properties, they're empty anyway. So it's surely it's actually a better thing to sell them on and see somebody in them. But thank you very much indeed, as ever, for calling. Just going to move on quickly because we have got other people, which is a lovely problem to have here on the Mannin Line. Let's just quickly go to line 1 now, and we can join Bonzo. Good afternoon, Bonzo.
Hi there. Yes, hearing Ray Lakeman and his quite understandable frustration with the fact that any progress on a drugs policy that is more about it being a public health issue rather than a criminal issue, that any progress on it has been less than glacial, taking at least more than 10 years. I think I can identify why the progress is so glacial, because these are matters in which the UK Ministry of Justice and the Home Office take a very, very great interest in, for obvious reasons, because we're a central point in the common travel area. And so if there were any relaxations on drugs policy here, then that would mean that they would have to take measures to respond. So you would end up with a situation which I think has been not so much directly threatened, but certainly suggested in the past, that you could end up with each container to the Isle of Man being searched, and each trailer from Marx's or Tesco's being searched, and each car being searched, and each person being searched, and the same going for flights from Rollsway. So that would make life very, very difficult. So that's obviously not somewhere that we're going to go. And with the election coming up as well, the usual trade law and the fact that so much legislation has been backed up because of frightening amounts of indecision in government and in COVID, then it isn't going to happen this side of the election, that's for sure. And with the Home Office regime with Ms Mahmood, who is very much of a sort of hard-line Home Secretary, whatever David Lammy, who is the Minister for Justice, I gather, quite well disposed to the Isle of Man, whatever he might think on the subject, I think what will happen is that nothing will happen. And that is precisely why nothing will happen. Because this comes back to a point which I've made many times, that the Isle of Man only has as much home rule at any one time as the UK sees fit.
Oh, you're such a cynic, Bonzo. But thank you so much.
No, I'm not a cynic. I'm not a cynic. I understand the practicalities of politics, which many people don't seem to, including many in Tibble.
Bonzo, lovely to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. And Bonzo just there talking in reaction to Ray Lakeman, who we heard from a few minutes ago. We're going to take a very quick break and then we're going to speak to Howard.
Something of a musical edition of Shachley at 5:30 today. It's a song you probably know. And one you may not.
Chiar Caterina Marrow, Chiar Caterina Marrow.
You can find out about these and more today at 5:30 in Shachley.
'Twas the run-up to Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, except a scammer with a mouse. Creating fake websites with deals too good to be true, like 75% off a new iPhone. Really? More fool you. If you're Christmas shopping online, be scam aware. Marketplaces, social media posts, don't rush into a costly mistake. Shop smart and always use secure payment. Stay merry, stay scam-free this Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
A message brought to you by Isle of Man Bankers Association, Financial Crime Partnership, the Isle of Man Constabulary and the Cyber Security Centre for the Isle of Man. For further information, visit csc.gov.im.
Ramsey, Douglas, Castletown and Peel, the Ferry Bridge and Laxey Wheel, Point of Ayr to the Sound of Man. Explore the island with Camperman. Whether it's an island staycation, a trip to the UK or a tour of Europe, do it in style with Camperman Luxury Motorhome Hire. Fabulous accommodation, the open road and stunning views await you. Start planning your dream adventure. Call Camperman Luxury Motorhome Hire now on 30 40 87 or find us on Facebook.
Walton's for electricals. Great service, great price and stock to go.
For everything electrical for your home, it has to be Walton's. At Walton's Electrical, we have a huge stock of ready-to-go items at incredible prices. Open Monday to Saturday 9 till 5 on the Isle of Man Business Park, Bradham. Find us online at waltons.im and follow us on Facebook for our latest offers.
Walton's for electricals. Great service, great price and stock to go.
Mrs. Claus here. As Santa's busy, I'm going to decorate the grotto ready for Christmas. And I hear that Ramsey Garden Centre is full of festive goodies, decorations, lights, gifts, even Christmas trees. Ramsey Garden Centre opens 7 days a week on Albert Road.
Manx Radio, the sound of your Christmas.
The Mannin Line with Beth Espey.
And it's 12:28. Lovely to have your company this lunchtime. 66 13 68 is the number to call if you'd like to talk about anything at all. We can join Howard now. Thank you so much for hanging on, Howard. How are you doing?
Hi, Beth. Good, thanks. And yourself?
I'm all right, thank you. What would you like to talk about?
Just what David was talking about, Marathon Drive. And we'll include the Olympia, where that grass plot is on Victoria Road. When you go past Marathon Drive, and also Hillside Avenue, that was the back of the hospital area. They were all, in what we used to term as parlour houses. That was the design, and they were family homes, and they were a quality home. And there used to be a fairly long waiting list to get into those. You could go into other places within the catchment area of Douglas Corporation. But those houses up there, they were the chosen few, shall we say. You were lucky to get one of those. But as in lots of cases, the council have neglected them. And I mean seriously neglected. Those houses were built for the families and they were looked after. And the families were proud of them. But unfortunately now, with the way the system, the government and the town hall and a lot of other places like that work, the houses, the rent is paid for in a lot of cases by benefits. They're paid for the people that's living in them. Now, when the people moved into the likes of the Olympia, Marathon Drive and the other council houses at the time, they were proud of them. But now, if you don't pay for something, you've got no respect for it.
Okay,
you've got no pride in it.
I'm just going to say, obviously, that is an assertion there that Douglas City Council has neglected these properties. We obviously don't know what maintenance has gone on with the individual ones over the years. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. And, there's also an age thing, isn't there? We know as buildings get older, we see it all over the place, don't we? That naturally they do need more work.
You go down into the likes of Oxford Street, Our daughter had one down there, and that was built at the latter end of the 1800s. And that was a big family house, and it's still there, and all that terrace in Oxford Street and all around that area, they're older than a lot of these houses that are built by the town council. And if they're maintained by the families that own them, or the, shall I say, the owners of them, they will last. But anything that's neglected will fall asunder. And I can say, quite honestly, I walked into one of the houses not very long ago on Marathon Drive, and as you walked in the door, this was a house that was just being let to a mother and her 2 children. There were no floorboards in part of the hallway leading up into the house. Now, that was being let by the council. It was not safe for people. And they've done away with the housing inspectors. There used to be a chap, Sid Kane. A lot of the older people in Douglas will remember him, and his son. He was with the council afterwards. Sid Kane was the housing inspector, and he ruled with a firm but a fair hand. And that's when the houses were looked after and the people respected them. But nowadays, you look around them, all the different council estates, and in lots of cases, they don't even cut the grass. I know of one house up there where they cut half the grass and the lawnmower's still in the middle of the other lot, and that's been there all summer. But it's down to the people that's living in them. And the council.
All right.
The council are neglecting houses left, right and centre.
All right, Howard, thank you very much indeed. Lovely to talk to you as ever. Those assertions actually we will put to Douglas City Council because it's only fair to give them...
question.
Oh, yeah?
Beth, it's something I was talking about last night, and this is to the older listeners of your and Andy's programme. Many years ago, there used to be a chap, and I can remember him as a very young man and a boy. He used to be in Strand Street with what looked like a tray in front of him on a holder, and he'd be standing there, and it looked like a battle organ. But in actual fact, I believe it was a cassette tape inside, but it was playing music, and he was always there for the Legion Poppy Day. In fact, I think he was awarded something from the Royal Legion, British Legion, for his collections. Can anybody remember his name? One of his favourite spots is what we have today, Deals. He used to be outside Woolworths, standing just at the doors of Woolworths. He had no monkey or nothing like that. He was just standing there with this tray in front of him. It was built purposely. It looked like a battle organ. And he'd be winding the handle, but it was all a cassette player inside. But
all right.
He made a lot of money in selling poppies, etc., for the Royal British Legion.
Oh, how lovely, Howard. Okay, so we're looking for Tom the Milkman and the name of the tray man. So let's see how well we do with that one. Howard, lovely to talk to you. Take care.
Okay, take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That was Howard there. And we can go quickly now to line 1 and join Eddie. Good afternoon, Eddie. You okay?
Yes, not bad at all, love. Yourself?
Yes, I'm good, thank you.
That's good. That's good. I want to talk about a programme I saw on television last night.
Okay.
And what prompted me to come on about it was the Green Party have announced that they're totally against Stu Peters' motion.
Yes, so this is going to be, just to remind people, this is going to be debated in Tynwald next week. What Stu would like to see is a referendum at the general election in 2026 so people can have their say about whether or not they think government should continue with their net zero policy. So that's what that's about. So you watched this programme then. What was it called? The Magical World of Moss, not John Moss. Yeah.
The Magical World of Moss. It was on BBC4, Channel 116, and it was explaining how important moss is. There's 25,000 different species of it, and I think everybody would know its main reason that being around is it absorbs all the pollutions, including CO2. If that's one of the things that people say is a pollutant, it's a necessary thing, but there you go. But it also produces so much oxygen only second to the sea itself, which is 90% of the Earth, isn't it? You know, all these things are what I would call a true green thing. So much that I believe all over the island they're actually replanting mosses on some of the wetlands, as they are in England and Wales, Scotland, all over the place. Which brings me to the green-fingered people who think that putting 25,000 tonnes of concrete minimum to support these onshore wind farms. Now, if those went up, that would take out the equivalent in mosses and heathers, so forth, and one of the best parts of the biosphere of the Isle of Man is that area. On listening to the programme, I won't explain it, but what I would love to do is anybody who's still, not sure about what is green and what isn't green, then go and have a look at that programme on BBC iPlayer. It is so informative, it's unbelievable. The other thing I'd like to say is I spoke to Andy on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, and he reprimanded me.
I heard.
for swearing.
Yes.
Did you hear that?
I did.
Well, one or two people have phoned up telling me that's not a swear word. So
well, don't say it again, Eddie.
I won't. I promise.
Okay.
But I've been and looked in the dictionary, and the explanation of it. Would you like?
Would I like it? Go on.
Well, it's where are we? Foolish, uninformed, pretentious, or exaggerated talk, nonsense. Now that's not a swear word, surely. But anyway, I promise I won't use it again.
Amazing. Thank you.
Just to get back to that other thing, if we put all them concrete pads up there, not only will we be taking that area away, which is a sponge to hold, we will get floods. The programme informed me that if you put brand new concrete down there, that concrete wouldn't be ready to regenerate itself with mosses for about 23 years.
All right, Eddie. Yeah, no, sounds really interesting. To say that programme is still available on iPlayer. So they went to some of the most moss-covered landscapes in the world, including Japan, Iceland, France and Denmark, and met experts investigating its properties. And they do say science is only beginning to understand the secrets and possibilities of these remarkable plants. Eddie, lovely to talk to you. We've got somebody else waiting on the line, so take care. Have a lovely afternoon. Thank you for not swearing. We can join Stephen now on line 2. Good afternoon, Stephen. You okay?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you, and good afternoon, listeners. If we could just talk about the policy of selling off the family homes in the Marathon Drive area and that area for a moment. I think what we've got to consider over this matter is that these are family homes which are going to be no longer available for families to move into. Now, I know that the council is saying that their demographic is that there's more single people who are needing accommodation, but I think this has to be, the question must be asked, why is there not more people, more families on local authority / council lists? And I think one of the answers is that the income limit is restricted for people. Now, the other issue that should be considered is, with the new minimum wage that is going to come in next year, will the qualifying income for people to have social housing also be raised? Because it's known that for two families, for two people to consider having a family, then they've both virtually got to work. So the issue is, why are we not providing homes for families also? Why is the council lists not as many for families? And is it because simply they fail at the first hurdle when they fill the form in to qualify as a couple for social housing, and therefore they don't qualify, and consequently it is right that the council have low lists for families, but they're artificially low by design.
All right there. Thank you so much. Sorry, Stephen, I'm just going to put in there very quickly to say we know there is going to be this new system for public sector rent increases. From next year, the annual rent adjustments are going to be directly linked to the previous year's September Consumer Price Index. So there will also be an optional 1% adjustment available for housing organisations. Was there something else you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I think that with this big high number of houses that have become dilapidated and unable to be occupied, we should really look at, or the council, I hope the council members will look at, what is their maintenance programme, what has gone wrong over the years. Is it because they don't have their own staff? Is their programmes wrong? Because this is a huge number of houses that have fell out of the ability to be rented out, become ruinous. So we do need to know what's the cause of this, and I think there should be an inquiry set up by the council to find out, is it because they don't have enough staff? Is it because the rates charged by contractors to renovate them are exorbitant or not able to be funded?
All right, Stephen.
So I do feel that there's lots of questions about this that are emanating from this matter, which should be discussed by our MHKs as well, certainly about the qualifying income settings.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Stephen. We will put some of those questions to Douglas Council. They are always very quick to respond to us, so hopefully we'll have something for you on tomorrow's programme. It's 12:42. We're going to take a very quick break and then talk to Sue.
Looking to put their joint heaviest defeat of the season firmly behind them, FC Isle of Man are back at the bowl this weekend with a big task to get back to winning ways in the NWCFL Premier Division. Having conceded 5 goals last weekend, the Ravens will be looking to get on firmer footing on Saturday when they host an Earlham side currently right in the chase for a playoff place. Join me, Rob Pritchard and Tony Mepham for FC Isle of Man versus Earlham, kicking off at 6 p.m. this Saturday. Manx Radio will be bringing you full live match commentary on our DAB and AM 1368 channels.
Andrea's Christmas Trees is now open for business. We will have premium British 5 to 8 foot trees, plus 10 foot to 22 foot, which are grown on our farm. Andrea's unique Christmas experience includes our stunning stable grotto, Davy Donkey at weekends, and of course a walk around our unique magical Christmas tree field with our famous elf hunt and a few extra surprises. Don't forget to try the complimentary homemade mince pies, fudge and shortbread. Visit Andrea's Christmas Trees Facebook page for full details.
Right, short Christmas ad, take one.
Here, did you know, this Christmas, right, if you bundle your mobile and broadband plans together with Shaw, you can save hundreds of pounds. You'll also get an M&S voucher up to £200. And you can't argue with that, can you?
Sorry, you might have misheard me. They're looking for a plain voice, not a cane.
Make sure of your Christmas in store or online at shaw.com. T's and C's apply, mind.
Feeling the winter lull? Get your glow back at Tracy Bell with winter offers on now for her, for him, for couples or family and friends. Just visit our website and click on our winter offers button on the front page and take advantage today. Tracy Bell, helping you to be better.
This Christmas, support our island's producers and make your Christmas dinner Manx. Search IOM Food and Drink on social media for your shopping list inspiration.
Steam into Christmas with family and friends on the unique Isle of Man Railways dining car. Our winter events programme has something for everyone. Journey through the Manx countryside enjoying sparkling festive fun. To get into the Christmas spirit, book now by calling our Yuletide team on 697457 or visit rail.im and experience one of our festive train adventures.
The Mannin Line with Beth Espey.
It's coming up to 1:45. Thank you so much for your company. We are going to try and get through some of the texts and emails that we have as well, but it's lovely to be able to go back to the lines and join Sue. Thank you for hanging on, Sue. How are you doing and what would you like to talk about?
I'm fine, thank you, Beth. I was glad Eddie rang in. I didn't see the programme about the moss or anything myself, but I've been thinking about similar things for a while regarding Airy Stane and all the concrete and the tarmac that would be put down if they go ahead with the wind farm. Now, my brain has been working on the fact that if they take out the plantation And they put in all the concrete and they put on hard tarmac roads so that the vehicles can get to where the turbines are going to be built. Then all of the peat area, the moorland area, the heathland area that is currently in, that soaks up all the excess rain, because we do get heavy downpours and we are getting a lot of rain. We do get a lot of rain, especially over autumn, winter months. Where all of that water is going to go, because currently all the peat and the moor and the heathland and everything soaks all of that up. Now, if they're going to put hard material down, like tarmac roads and concrete bases and things, what's going to happen to all the water? Because it certainly won't soak into tarmac and it won't soak into concrete. So, as I understand it, I mean, I don't live in the Airy Staine area, I live up north. But as I understand it, Airy Staine is on a hill and it creates a valley that the River Colby is created into and runs down. So is all of the water that won't soak in because they've put all the hard materials in, is that all going to sort of create a bigger River Colby? Is there a chance that that will flood any of the surrounding area? And also, because they're planning on removing a full plantation, therefore destroying the root system which holds all of the land together, is that going to cause land slippage? Because we've all seen on television, on the news, international news, about countries that have removed forests from the sides of mountains. And once they've removed it, they get sudden downpours, and the villages below where the forests were are engulfed in mud and everything. I know it's a bit extreme, that example, but could there be something similar happening because of Airy Staine?
Okay, Sue. So, yeah, a lot to think about there. And I'm sure you're echoing the thoughts of many people who see it from that point of view. So, I mean, is it fair to say that this is something that you wouldn't particularly want to see happening then?
Oh, I think it's an abomination. I'm really, really against it. I was watching Mark Lewis, Money Savings Expert, last week, and he had the chief of Octopus Energy. He had the big boss of Octopus Energy on there, and they eventually discussed wind turbines, wind energy. And he said that every year they have to spend billions, and I'm not talking millions, I'm talking billions, to pay for the wind turbines to be turned off. Now, I've heard people say about that before, but I didn't quite understand it. But the boss of Octopus Energy explained it, that if the wind blows too hard and the turbines would, in return, create too much energy, and that amount of energy would turn their grid into meltdown, they have to request that the turbines are turned off. But they still have to pay a standard fee for the turbines to be there. So while the turbines are not producing energy, either through lack of wind or because there is too much wind, they are still having to pay for it. So if our government and the MUA, as under the hat of the government, sort of get that same sort of agreement, then will we have to pay? And have they reckoned on how often these turbines would be turning? And to me, for them to turn around and say, we're going to rip out a plantation, we're going to destroy natural habitat, we're going to destroy ecology, we're going to kill off animals, really, because all of the wildlife and everything that lives in that area isn't going to have anywhere to go, so they're going to die. Is that really a right thing to do? And people keep saying, well, it costs too much to look at other systems of renewable energy. Well, that's rubbish, because they're planning on spending millions and millions on this anyhow.
All right, Sue, lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for getting in touch. Have a lovely afternoon.
And you, Beth, thank you.
Take care. That was Sue there talking about wind turbines, just on the back of what Eddie was talking about. Let's go to some of your texts and emails now. Paul W. was in touch to say, what is Devon Watson thinking about selling off our council houses? Who can get a mortgage on them? Then there's the cost of doing them all up. Please make this idea make sense. We need to completely remove all social housing, full stop. I have to pay rent in the private sector and I have the same bills as those in council housing. Get rid of them all. It isn't fair on many people. A message here from Jeff who says, I just wanted to say I'm struggling to have any enthusiasm for the forthcoming election next year. I don't think the system works as it is. I think the civil service is out of control and far too large. Lots of anecdotal chat about the service being peppered with people who are well paid but with little to do or lacking the smarts to do it. Who would want to be an MHK with the issues that we face, asks Jeff. So talking about the general election in September next year. That'll be here before we know it. Fran says, at last, a dangerous tree above Ramsey Hairpin is to be removed. We've got that emergency road closure coming into force at 1:30. Let's hope the DOI and DEFA remove the other dozen plus that need shifting as well. Some are clinging on for dear life right up to the Waterworks bend. Big Phil says, I was surprised to read on the Manx Radio Facebook page that the Green Party will be opposing Stu Peters' motion at next week's Tynwald for the referendum on net zero. It never ceases to amaze me that those who preach the virtues of democracy are the first to seek to deny people democracy when the narrative doesn't suit them. We will be speaking very shortly, actually, to the Isle of Man Green Party about their comments. This is all about the motion that is going to be in Tynwald next week. Would you like to have your say on whether or not the government should continue with its net zero policies? Gary says, a while ago, Mr Hooper said on Mannin Line that the Isle of Man didn't need a climate referendum because people can use their vote at the next election. But what if all the candidates who stand for election in a constituency support climate policies? Under our system, people could withhold their vote because they don't agree with candidate views, but the candidates would still get elected by a minority and impact the life of the majority. Also, if candidates stand on an anti-climate change platform in every constituency, do they get voted in and then come up short in respect of all other aspects of government? Just have a referendum on an issue that will not just impact one or two parliaments, but will impact generations, says Gary. Just talking about the Ogan trees again. The lights are lovely. The trees are pathetic, half the size of other ones. Interesting though, isn't it, what David Quirk was saying? They've obviously got locally sourced trees and maybe they are a little bit smaller, but they have got the lights on. Stewie says, going back on what David Quirk said about Marathon Drive, most of those empty houses have been empty for years and are in a bad way. As I say, we should put these questions to Douglas City Council that have been raised on the programme today. Pam says, has anyone heard that some schools are scaling back on celebrating Christmas and taking part in Christmas activities, as some parents of children attending the schools are not happy that their children are part of something they don't believe in or celebrate? As far as I'm aware, Pam, and I think it's always been the case, that if a parent doesn't want a child to be involved in something, they can ask for them to step out, and that has happened, I think, for as long as I can remember. The houses in Marathon Drive, some have been empty for over 12 years. There are at least 16 in the drive, 6 vacant. Ha ha, says that texter. I wonder, says Frank, what they spend all the car tax money on, because it can't be the roads, because in my opinion they seem to be in a very poor state. I think one of the problems associated with the slow progress in developing a coherent drugs policy, this is in relation to Ray Lakeman's comments earlier, is that there is no overreaching strategy from government or indeed any particular politician. 25 years ago, the Chief Minister at the time was personally invested in a drug and alcohol strategy. Indeed, it was called the Chief Minister's Strategy and had commitment from relevant government departments. It seems that now there are so commitments with no real drive to get things done. The island needs leadership on this issue. Kath has been in touch to say it's very concerning that there is continual cycling on pavements, which is illegal, and nothing is being done about it. No anti-cycling on pavements awareness programmes, no cycling prohibited notices anywhere. For example, on Circular Road yesterday, the response of a cyclist was, why not? When asked why he was cycling on the pavement as he continued on his way, weaving through pedestrians. This needs, says Kath, urgent attention. A message here from Peter. The barrel organ man. So David Quirk wanted to know what the name of the barrel organ man was who used to stand outside Woolworths, as it was. His name was Bernard, says Peter. I think it was Bernard Watterson, but I stand to be corrected. Peter, brilliant. Thank you very much. And wonder if we can find out any more about Bernard Watterson. We're still also looking for Tom the Milkman as well, because he apparently is retiring. So we want to be able to give him a little bit of a send-off. Let's just go to some of the messages that we've had on WhatsApp. With regard to transport and public safety, we've done that one from Kath. John in Ramsey says, just an inquiry, where are we with progressing Erie Stain? I've heard from a reliable source that roads have been surveyed to increase the width to transport plant and materials to the site. It should be prioritised, as our electricity supply could come under pressure if Europe goes to war with Russia, and our supply would be threatened as it's a gas turbine plant. Andy, who's in Rome, Very lovely that you're listening, Andy. Has Devon Watson from Douglas City Council explained why some council tenants won't be allowed first option to buy their houses while others are being given the chance? Surely that's a discriminatory policy. What do listeners think? Andy, we should say we'd have to put that question to Douglas City Council and check that is actually accurate. One of the problems with... we've done that drugs one. Has anyone heard... Oh, no, done that one as well. And Jeff was still struggling to have... enthusiasm for the general election next year. Could Bernard Watterson be the one selling poppies? Thank you very much indeed to somebody else there with that name ending 150, that number. Does it include Sterling Moss? I'm all in favour of getting rid of net zero. Was going to swear, but I bit my tongue. Thank you very much indeed, Des. The last time Devon Watson was on, I suggested, says Dick, he once again look at the 1980s through the 1990s right to buy scheme the Conservatives introduced across, which thousands of people took up and benefited from. Councils all over Britain built new houses from the money they got. Well, Devon literally said Maggie Thatcher's scheme was a complete failure. Unfortunately, Maggie wasn't around to defend the right to buy scheme, as I'm sure she would have put him right. But having bashed the idea, Douglas, Mr Watson is effectively doing the very same thing as Maggie did. What has made him change his mind? And really, I think he owes Maggie an apology for what he said was a failure, but now is doing the same thing in Douglas. That's all we've got time for. Any of the emails and texts that we didn't get time to, we will take on to tomorrow's programme. If you think of something while we're not on air, 682 631, leave a message and we can play it out. Christy D is next with 1 to 3. Thank you so much for your company, and thank you very much to Chris Quirk for producing today's programme. Take care. Bye-bye.